Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Give me something till Friday night. Watching, shout out to the memories keeping us alive right now.
Hello, my people. Welcome to another episode of Life Flow Podcast with Debbie Joesi Ajom. Christmas is in the air and we're halfway through the month already. It's such a privilege to be alive. And I want to thank you all for always tuning in every 2 weeks to listen to my stories. Last week, our Spotify Wrapped for Creators was out, and it was just so amazing to see how far we've come from February to this very month, how our listeners interact with us, the episodes they love the most, and where we're being listened to. So far, it's 8 countries, and oh my goodness, who would have thought? So we want to thank you for always supporting us, for sharing our links, for telling friends and families to tune in, for always commenting on our posts, on our socials, on Instagram and TikTok, for just being so amazing. If you haven't rated our podcast, please do so, because better ratings mean that more people get to see the podcast and then hopefully listen to it. Thank you so much. In today's episode, I'm going to read a piece that I wrote a while ago because I haven't been able to complete anything recently. I'm writing, but I just can't get to the end and I can't read out half a story. So I do hope you forgive me, because last time I promised to read longer pieces in the next 2 episodes, but I promise once again I'm going to read a full-on short story in the next episode, which is going to be the last for the year. This episode is titled Untitled. So let's get into the story. I was 11 years old and giddy. If I was fair-skinned, my face would have been red, but the excitement on my face still couldn't go unnoticed. In the space of 2 years, I had become something of a tourist, touring the beautiful city of Abuja after school. Because we lived in the outskirts of town, the only times I got to see wide tarred roads, sky-rise buildings, towers, functioning streetlights and road wardens were during the weekdays on my way to school. However, the route to school wasn't the only way I followed now. Today, we were at the National Television Authority to see Dr. Mrs. Angela K. She was a renowned writer and journalist. My father was by my side, beaming too. As a writer, a journalist and a mother, Father was confident that Angela would not only support me, but also be proud of my little strides. Plus, the fact that she was my role model. I wanted to be a journalist when I grew up too. Father was so sure we had come to the right place. We waited for her in the waiting room for about an hour and a half before she showed up. She looked prettier in real life, but slightly older. Even before Father suggested that we come to see her, I had been watching the news daily and I admired her eloquence, her style of speaking and delivery, and her beauty. She had mesmerizing, bulging eyes that kept one captivated to the screen. I wanted to be just like her. And I was already halfway there because I had written a book. Mr. Azaka, she beckoned Father when she stepped into the waiting room on her way to her office. Father and I stood up immediately and followed her in. After warm pleasantries with wide smiles, Father told her the reason for our visit. He handed her my manuscript, and while she skimmed through, he said, "So, as her role model and a mother, she has come to seek your advice and support in publishing her manuscript." Dr. Mrs. Angela K. was silent for a long time as she kept perusing my manuscript. I sat hunched in the swivel chair, which was too big for my size, unknowingly holding my breath and staring as her feline eyes darted across the pages of my manuscript. It felt like the moment of truth had come upon me. It was one of two things. Either she loved my book and would help father publish it, or she loved my book but didn't have the money to support, so she would take me to see her superiors who would willingly support my project. I couldn't imagine her not liking my stories. She sighed softly when she got to the last page of the manuscript, closed it, and placed it on her table. "How old are you again, my dear?" "I'm 11 years old, ma," I answered. She sighed again and locked her fingers. "Wow, you're still so young. Why the rush? Go to school. Have fun with your mates. Grow up at the right pace. Don't pressure yourself into writing, my dear. You have time enough to do that. I published my first book when I was 40, and it was a huge success. Your father doesn't even have the money to carry the weight of publishing and marketing at the moment. Don't get me wrong, I applaud you for doing this at this young age, but..." My world came crumbling in tiny, hurtful pieces. It took the grace of God for the tears that welled up in my eyes not to pour in torrents, as she kept piercing my fragile heart with every dagger that proceeded out of her mouth. I saw father in the corner of my eye, holding his veiny arm tightly. I knew he was also holding his anger. Father had been the best rhetorician I'd ever seen at 11, and if there was anyone who could convince Dr. Mrs. Angela K. otherwise, it was father. But he didn't. After her long episode and subtle refusal to help us, father thanked her profusely and we left. After making small talk with the security guards at the gate whom father had already informed of my manuscript and desire to see Madame and their joy at my prowess at such an age, we left. But father didn't tell them Madame refused to help and even discouraged me from going on to write. "Deal, we cannot give up," father said when we got to a mango tree in front of a beautiful 2-story building about 100 meters away from NTA head office. We had used the last money father had to board a taxi to NTA, hoping that Dr. Mrs. Angela K. would give us some money. Now, we were going to trek back to father's office. "What are we going to do now?" I asked, scared and confused. Father didn't look at me when he said, "I don't know yet, but I'll think of something." We were silent as we watched beautiful cars speed through the street and admired them inwardly. The sun was shining in earnest. I calculated the distance back to Wuse from Area 11 and my heart sank. We were going to be drenched in sweat by the time we arrived at our destination. Father smiled at me and said, "Don't worry, we'll make it. We're going to publish your book. We'll buy that Honda Hala and we won't have to trek again." I believed in him. I trusted him. You have come to the end of episode 12 of The Storm Before the Storm. We upload new episodes every 2 weeks, so please hit the follow and subscribe button if you haven't done so you do not miss out on our new content. If you enjoyed the story, please leave a review, share the episode to as many people as you can share with, spread the word, let people listen to Life Law and also enjoy the stories just like you. Don't forget to check out the artists whose songs we featured on this episode. We have been doing this for as long as the podcast has thrived this year. So check the show notes for more information on where to listen to these artists. If you would love to collaborate with us, if you would love to advertise your product on this podcast, if you would love us to also feature your song on our podcast, then drop us a message on our socials. Life Law Podcast is available on Instagram and TikTok at @LifeLaw_podcast. or you can also message me and check the show notes for my contact details. Thank you so much for listening. Merry Christmas in advance and a Happy New Year. I am Debbie Doisi Ajob, and this is Life Law Podcast.